Hi everyone, and you have a video interview coming up and you want the strategies that will help you to build a similar connection as if you are in person. And there are ways to show that you are perfect for the role and completely stand out from all other candidates. I will be sure to deliver on all of that and more in this video. If you've never met before, I'm Zosha Stakov from English Learn by Heart. And in this video, you will learn a tactical approach that will make you appear confident, warm, and relaxed on video. And then I will share a strategy to leave an incredible impression well beyond your competition. Okay, so first let's talk about your setup. Some of these things may be a little bit obvious, but others, oh my gosh, you will be so glad that you are thinking about this now. Okay, the first thing is computer. Ideally, use a computer for your video call instead of a phone. It looks more professional. And then stack it up on several books so that you are not looking down at the camera. It subconsciously sends a signal that you are looking down on the interviewer. You want them to see you as their equal. And so there is a low-key psychology associated with all of this. So make sure to get that puppy eye level. Next, notifications. Nothing gets you nervous going haywire, quite like someone, deciding to send you 8 texts in a row while you are interviewing. Set your phone to don't disturb and create a guest account on your computer and then log into that for your interviews. That should eliminate any notification from your normal computer that they may throw at you. Next, backup technology. Should your computer go on strike while you are in the interview, have another computer, a phone, or a tablet nearby if you have another one in your household, and provide the interviewer with your phone number if they don't already have it. Just in case you should get disconnected and you can just chat the old-fashioned way. Ask your household to hop off of the internet during the duration of the interview, or at least not be streaming video. Additionally, practice logging on to your phone's hotspot should your local Wi-Fi betray you. Next, screensaver. Hey, I'm all for eco mode, saving energy, there is no planet B, but we have to turn off all of those settings when we are interviewing. I can tell you how many times I have gotten my screensaver mid-video calls and I have to sign back into my computer. If that happens, play it super cool. Maybe even practice that happening before you get into your interview, but also do your best to turn off those settings ahead of time. What is next? Background. With the background behind you, aim for the least amount of clutter possible. Notice what is in your background. I know I have a desk in my bedroom, for example, and it's usually only once I log on to the video call, I notice the closet door is wide open and it doesn't look so good. So likely, often remember to then close it before starting the call. So next, lighting. Straight on lighting to your face is so important. Weird lighting above or below makes it look like you are about to tell a spooky ghost story. And then lighting from one side or the other side makes it look like Two-Face. If you can't position yourself in front of a window, grab a few lamps or invest in one of those handy-dandy ring lights. It is an investment that is typically worth it. They help you to look great, so you can also get some affordable ones for anything between like 2,000 to 6,000 rubles. Next, closing, an important step. Avoid closing with patterns and colors that are the same color as your background, as you could then look like a floating head. Consider a solid contrast outfit. Next, earbuds. Earbuds are a great thing to have to limit audio complications. Water bottle. Have a water bottle nearby you in case your voice gets hoarse. And also in case the very likely scenario in my life of knocking over of the water cup with a grand gesture or due to general spazziness. Having a bottle with a gap minimizes disruptions. Next, video conferencing software. Look at the link they sent you for the video conferencing software and do a full dress rehearsal on that platform. They are all a bit different. Ask a family member or a friend to be on the other end. Try different controls choosing the speaker views, especially if there is more than one interviewer. Muting, sharing the screen, logging on and off. Now, let's talk about how to appear friendly and confident. Practicing looking into the camera instead of looking into the center of the screen. The person on the other side will feel connected to you because it will feel like you are looking directly in their purpose. Smile a little more than you normally would and pep up your energy. The video may add 4 kilos, but it subtracts 3 cups of coffee. So you will come across a lot less energetic. Practice all of these moves with a friend on the other end and choose your most honest friend. They will tell you if you are coming off confident or like a green buffoon. Make sure you have practiced answering interview questions and that you have your key story that you want to tell, and make sure they are well rehearsed. So let's jump into 6 difficult questions that you might be asked, though that you are prepared and ready for your next interview. The first tough interview question that you are likely to get asked is, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? This question will probably be the first question that you are asked in the interview. And it sounds easy up front, but in actuality these questions take a little bit more planning and preparation than some of the other questions that I'm going to share with you today. And because it's the most commonly asked interview question of all questions, you absolutely need to be prepared to this question. Your answer to this question needs to be simple but effective. You don't want to go on about your personal life. However, you do need to show your personality and character when you are answering this question. Your interviewer is trying to get a sense of your confidence level and your passion that you have for the position and the industry. The best way to answer this question, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, is to start with where you are now in your career, then mention how you got to where you are, and then talk about why you are so passionate about the position or the industry, and to top it all off, you wanna add how the position aligns with your goals and your aspirations. So how does the position match up to where you wanna be in the future? I want you to think of your answer to this question as your 30-second pitch. You should create the perfect elevator pitch so that you can impress the potential employer or land a new client. Now I will learn you my simple formula. That will save you time to create your own powerful pitch. Whether you are a job seeker or an entrepreneur, having an elevator pitch is essential for your career progression. This simple yet professional presentation of who you are will give you more confidence when meeting with prospective clients, attending networking events, or job affairs. Before we jump into how to write the perfect pitch, remember that the purpose of an elevator pitch is to quickly let others know what your expertise are, what your greatest accomplishments are. It is designed to ignite a two-sided conversation. So let's jump into it. Tip number 1. Identify who you are and who you help. Start with a simple statement that quickly grabs the attention of the other person and piques their interest. Here is an example of how I would start my own elevator pitch. I'm an English career coach, helping working professionals find a career brings true happiness and fulfillment. The next step is to identify your why. To keep the other person engaged, mention why you do what you do. This will help you explain your purpose and better clarify your passion and commitment to what you do. This will also be one of the reasons why the person you are talking to takes action in the end. So, here is how I would explain this in my elevator pitch. One of my greatest passions is to provide English career guidance to business professionals that want to learn top-notch job search strategies, interview prep skills, and even career transition approaches. Now your elevator pitch is very similar to a professional bio. Step number 3. Explain what makes you unique. After you have explained who you are, who you help, why you help them, and then you want to talk about what makes you so special, what makes you different. An easy way to do this is to mention your greatest accomplishments. What are some of the largest problems you've solved or major contributions you've made? This will help keep the momentum going and will give you credibility. So here is how I can explain this in my elevator pitch. In addition to English career strategy, I help my clients explore options for practicing English in everyday life. I provide actionable advice for those that are striving to speak English fluently. Step number 4. Include a call to action. Your goal at the end of the conversation should be to get to the other person to take some type of action. This can be something like an exchange of business cards or a request to connect on Facebook or other messengers, or better yet, a follow-up meeting. One of my favorite ways to get the other person to take action is by asking them a simple question. For example, I might say something like, is an entrepreneurship something you've considered before? This will be the start of a new relationship and hopefully lead you to your end goal. Step number 5. Practice and revise. One of the best things you can do is to practice your elevator pitch out loud. Say it to your family members or to your friends, even colleagues and co-workers. And don't be afraid to change it. Your elevator pitch will go through different iterations and will change over time depending on your recent accomplishments or problems you solved. And remember, you don't want to ramble when it comes to your elevator pitch. You want to practice saying it within 30 seconds or less. Now, to make sure you get it right when it comes to your elevator pitch, follow this simple formula. I'm here. List what you are. Helping. List who you help. One of my greatest passion is. List your passion here. I've been fortunate to. List some of the biggest problems you've solved or some of your greatest accomplishments. Have you ever? List your question. And list the question you have to get them to take action in the end. The second tough interview question that you are likely to get asked is any behavioral type interview question. An example of a behavioral interview question is to tell me about a time that you handled a difficult situation. Or give me an example of what you made a mistake and how did you handle that mistake. These questions are geared towards a specific situation, hence the term behavioral or situational based questions. Now I want to hear from you. Write your email and send it to translate5@mail.ru and tell if you have ever been given a behavioral or situational question before in an interview. Now, these questions are generally more effective than some of the other interview questions that I'm sharing with you today, only because they allow you to go into greater detail and show your skills and your ability in action. These questions actually help the interviewer determine what some of your past problem-solving experience has been. They want to get an idea of how you are going to solve problems with the company or in the position in the future. These questions definitely take some thought, but with some preparations you can definitely take an impact with how you answer this question. The secret to doing well with any behavioral interview question is to answer it using a micro story. So a micro story is something that you have done in the past and something that you have accomplished in the past. So think of some of the largest projects that you have worked or some of the things that you are most proud of and that you want the interview to know. Now think back to the interview question I mentioned earlier, that can you tell me a little bit about yourself? That question is going to be a macro story. So that is your entire career story in one answer, where these micro stories are going to help you build upon your larger career story. So when you are asked a behavioral-based interview question, you can mention it in a story format about what it is that you have done in the past that you are most proud of and you want the interview to know. that you have done. Now let me explain how you are going to structure these micro stories. You are going to use what we call the STAR method. So the STAR method allows you to develop a clear, concise story around a specific situation. So let me explain. The S and the T stands for situation and task. This is going to be the beginning of a story. So this is where you're going to talk about the situation that happened, the task that you performed because of that situation. The A stands for action. This is the middle of your story. This is where you're going to describe the action step that you took to solve the particular problem. And then, of course, the R stands for the results. This is where you're going to explain the exact result that you achieved from solving the problem. Now let me bring that all together for you in a sample answer. So let's say the interviewer asks you, can you tell me about the time you handled a difficult situation? Here is an example of how you could structure your answer. In my previous position as a top manager, I had the privilege of working with a client that was gregarious, full of energy, and very eager to make things happen. The only problem is that the client didn't have a clear goal of vision of what they really wanted. This led to frustration and a whole lot of misunderstanding. So in the introduction to this question, we are explaining the situation and the task. Let's look at how we will talk about the action and the result. Using a technique called I'll know it when I see it, I was able to elicit, analyze, and document ideas the client hadn't considered before. After some powerful brainstorming session, we developed a solution that the client was over the moon with. In the end, we received 3 referrals from this one client. So we will notice that we rounded it off with an action and then the result that we took to solve that specific problem. So again, this is a simple example of how you could answer any behavioral-based interview question. The third tough interview question that you are likely to get asked is, why do you want to work here? This question is asked because the interviewer wants to get an idea of what your goals and intentions are. So before the interview, you really need to think about why you want to work for the company. The key to doing well with this question is to show that you understand the company and the position. You don't want to answer with some generic response like I want to work here for the company because I always wanted to work here. You want to get into more details and explain to them why you always wanted to work there. Is there a specific value? Is there a specific mission or goal that the company is on that is inspiring you to want to work for the company? Or does the position allow you to utilize some of your greatest strengths? Is it a real passion of yours? There are the things you need to think about and to mention when the question is asked. The fourth tough interview question that you are likely get asked is, why should we hire you? This question sounds really similar to the previous question, why do you want to work here? However, your answer to this question is going to be slightly different. So rather than focusing on the company now, you're going to place the focus on yourself, how you are going to mention why you are so unique from all the other candidates. What special skills and unique talents do you possess that perhaps no one else does? Start by finding out what problems the company is facing. You want to thoroughly review the job posting and find out why they are hiring for the position in the first place. Once you thoroughly understand their biggest pain points, you can then explain and communicate in the interview how your skills, your expertise, and your talents can help them solve their problems. The fifth tough interview question that you are likely to get asked in your interviews is, what are your weaknesses? Interviewers are asking this question because they want to get an idea of your self-awareness. They want to gauge your personality and your character. The key to doing well with this question is to pick a legitimate weakness and then from there talk about what you are doing to overcome that weakness. Now, the weakness you choose to mention in the interview should not directly relate to the position. The interviewer wants to know if you're going to be open and honest about this question. And of course, if you want to make an impact in your interview, you want to pick something that really you struggle with, but doesn't relate specifically to the job. To make it easier on yourself, pick something that is in the past, but stay positive with your response. The 6 tough interview questions that you're likely to get asked is, what are your strengths? The reason interviewers ask this question is because they want to know, do your strengths really align to the position that they are hiring for? Mr. Yod, do you agree? This question also might sound easy, but it's a little bit more complex than you think. The key to doing well with this question is to pick strengths that specifically align with the position you're applying for. For example, if you notice that the position requires someone with astute analytical skills, you need to mention that as one of your strengths. On the other hand, let's say that the position is looking for someone that's really fantastic project management skills. Here is a response that you could give. One of my strengths is the ability to organize and implement systems that are easy to follow. And then go into some sort of story that shows how you have been able to accomplish just that. If you'd like this video, tell your friends about it in your Instagram, TikTok, and other messengers. Subscribe to us on Instagram, TikTok, on YouTube. Join the group of students. Link is, something here, and our channel. Link is there. So one more thing, if you want to support what we do, you can donate PayPal, translate5@rambler.ru, and help us to do this for a long time. Alright? So thank you very much.